Hi folks, this is Karim Raouf on IT Visual Azure channel. We will continue our lab, the Matrix Labs, the video number 28. I've been discussing in the previous video the following. I've been working for a couple of videos now on discussing the DC-Diag tool and its various tests to check the health of your domain controller or the health of the domain controllers in a domain. And if I'm talking about the health of the domain controllers in the domain, then I'm talking about also the health of your Active Directory, which is installed on a domain controller, or it's a part of the domain controller. So we have seen there is 30 different tests that this tool or the DC-Diag tool can do to check the health of your various parts of your domain controller and your Active Directory. We have stopped the last time at the test of DNS, which was the last test that we will discuss concerning this DC-Diag tool. I know I didn't discuss most of the tests, but these are the most important tests that we need to focus on. If you need to see the other tests or to know what the other tests can do, you can go to Microsoft documentation and see all of the tests one by one. So you can see this is the reference, or this is the syntax, and these are all of the tests. We have discussed most of them, or the one that we need to focus on. So you can see all of them, and if you need to know more, you can check them, but I think we have discussed most of them. So we will shift to another very important tool, which will focus on the replication of the Active Directory database. We have seen that the DC-Diag tool, we have a test called replications, which will check the replication status of the Active Directory databases between your domain controllers. Even though this test gives you some signs about the replication of the Active Directory databases, it is not that detailed report, or it's not that doesn't provide much information, gives you a summary. So Microsoft has created a tool specially for the replication issues concerning the Active Directory database, a tool called RepAdmin, which is a very comprehensive tool that will give you detailed reports or detailed output concerning your Active Directory replication status. So we need to focus on this tool. So we have discussed now two tools that we can use to check or troubleshoot problems concerning our domain controllers and our Active Directory. Now we will discuss the second tool, which is RepAdmin. We will see what is the RepAdmin, what it will do. For example, it will check the replication status of your Active Directory databases. What is a replication, or what is the term of replication? What are the factors that replication depend on? So for a replication to happen, what we need to have, okay, and some terminologies and glossaries concerning the replication. So when I'm talking about replication topology, what I mean by replication topology. If I'm talking about pool replication, what I mean by this term. If I'm talking about inter-site replication, what I mean by inter-site replication. If I'm talking about intra-site replication, what I mean by intra-site replication. So all of these we need to discuss before beginning working with the tool. So we will see how we can use the tool to get a summary of the replication of the Active Directory databases, how we can use this tool to get the errors concerning the replication. We will see a lot of things, but before deep diving in the tool, we need to first have an overview of the tool. Okay, so Mr. Lo van der Pol, again I am using one of his videos, important videos in his channel, the Tech Savvy Production channel, which is very good YouTube channel. I urge you all to go and subscribe to it. He have two videos concerning troubleshooting Active Directory replication. He have two videos concerning troubleshooting Active Directory replication using the RepAdmin tool. We will discuss these two videos. We'll try to add some notes or some extra content to his videos, and as we see here, he has some slides he uses in his videos to explain the Active Directory or troubleshooting the Active Directory application. We'll use these slides to ask the AI tools to give us more or explain more concerning this topic in specific. And we can see here also he has already a PDF. If you go to his replication videos, he have a link in the description of the video. This link contains a PDF that is talking about troubleshooting of Active Directory replication and contains a lot of useful information. First of all, we will discuss the first part of it, rep admin introduction and technology overview. We'll take a glance, or we'll take part of his PDF and try to ask the AI tools to explain it in simple terms. So the first thing we need to discuss today is the Active Directory replication dependencies, what we need to do so the replication will happen, some glossary of replication terms, what is a replication topology, what is a poor replication topology, or what is a poor replication term. So a lot of replication terms and other related replication terms. So there is replication terms related to the replication and some terms related to the replication in indirect way, okay? Or related to the replication in a direct way, let's say that. So we will discuss each one of these things in details, and we'll ask the AI tools to discuss it one by one. Okay, so first of all, we need to go and ask ChatGPT. Here is the first thing. We need to explain this using layman terms. I have copied all of the 3 points. I have copied them or to the AI tools, but the first one I need to discuss is the Active Directory replication dependencies. I have copied what is included in the PDF and asked the AI tool to explain it. So let's see the first thing, what is the replication dependencies or Active Directory replication dependencies. What we need or for a replication to happen, what we need to have. Okay, so let's go and ask ChatGPT to tell us.
Sure, here's a simplified explanation. repadmin.exe is a tool that helps administrators fix problems with Active Directory, which is a system that manages computers and users in a network. Here are the key things Active Directory needs to work properly. 1. Routable IP infrastructure. This means the network should be set up so that computers can find each other using IP addresses. This setup helps computers communicate with the nearest domain controllers, special computers that manage network resources instead of distant ones. 2. DNS, Domain Name System. This system translates computer names into IP addresses. For Active Directory to work, DNS must be set up correctly so that computers can find each other using names instead of numbers. 3. RPC, Remote Procedure Call. This is a way for computers to communicate and share updates. Active Directory uses RPC to transfer information between different parts of the network. 4. Kerberos Authentication. This is a security system that makes sure only authorized users can access the network. It also ensures that communications are encrypted, protected. 5. LDAP, Lightweight Directory Access Protocol. This is a protocol used to access and manage the directory information. When setting up a new domain controller, a computer that manages network resources, LDAP is used to replicate, copy the entire directory information. 6. NetLogon. This service helps computers find and connect to each other by registering names and addresses in DNS. 7. Intersite messaging. This is used for communication between different parts of the network, especially when they are spread out over large distances. It helps with email replication and calculating network coverage. In simple terms, for Active Directory to work smoothly, it needs a well-configured network that allows computers to find each other, communicate securely, and share information efficiently. repadmin.exe is the tool that helps check and fix any issues in this setup.
So these 7 points are very, very critical for an Active Directory to work smoothly and also for the application to happen. Okay, and the rep admin, as I say here, will check every part of these 7 points and see if there is a problem with it. Okay, if there is a problem with it, the replication will not happen. So the rep admin will check all of these 7 points to make sure the replication is working properly. So this is the answer of ChatGPT 4o. If you go to Claude 3.5, Sonnet, which is the latest AI platform or AI platform from Orthotropic, which is a very good tool. Actually, I used it a lot. Let's see the answer of Claude 3.5 Sonnet. The same, I'm asking it to explain it in layman terms. We need to ask it to explain uh, what is the RIP admin or the RIP admin tool, and what is the factors that the replication depend on. Okay, so let's see what is the answer.
Irvis system. Would you like me to elaborate on any part? repadmin.exe. Troubleshooting Active Directory replication.
So let's, sorry guys, let's do it again from the beginning. Here we go, let's do that.
Irvis system. Would you like me to
So if you go,
repadmin.exe. Troubleshooting
okay,
Active
let's go like
Directory.
this one.
Sure, I'd be happy to explain this in simpler terms. repadmin.exe is a tool that helps IT administrators fix problems with how information is shared between computers in a large network, specifically in something called Active Directory. Active Directory is like a big phone book for a company's network. It keeps track of all the computers, users, and other resources. This information needs to be copied or replicated between different servers so that it's always up to date everywhere. For this copying to work properly, several things need to be in place. A working network where computers can talk to each other using IP addresses. DNS, which is like a translator that turns computer names into IP addresses. RPC, which is a way for computers to ask each other to do things. Kerberos, which is a security system that makes sure only the right computers can share information. LDAP, which is the main way computers talk to Active Directory. NetLogon, which helps computers find each other on the network. Intersite messaging, which helps share information between different physical locations of a company. All these pieces work together to make sure that when something changes in one part of the network, that change is safely and quickly shared with all the other parts that need to know about it. The repadmin.exe tool helps administrators check if all these pieces are working correctly and fix them if they're not. It's like a diagnostic tool for the company's digital nervous system. Would you like me to elaborate on any part of this explanation?
So this is very good explanation. I think it is better than ChatGPT for all. Let's first do something here. So here, this is the first answer, and then we can see here is a diagram that explain, or you can see from it the replication topology. So we can see these are three domain controllers in one site. They replicate between each other within the same site. This is called intra-site replication. This is the range of IP addresses for this site, and then we have another site which is maybe for another site contains a couple of domain controllers. They have intra-site replication as well. They communicate with each other using RPC protocol. The same is done here. We have the RPC protocol also. So the replication or the intra-site replication happens using the RPC over IP protocol. The same is done on the other side. Between the two sites we have a WAN link, and this is the inter-site replication, and it is using RPC/IP or SMTP/IP, which is basically used with emails, but it can be used for the inter-site replication. So this is a little bit of a diagram how different terminologies or how the replication happens between domain controllers within the same site and between different sites. And you can see here, Manuel is saying inter-site messaging. This is the protocol used or the method used to replicate Active Directory databases between two sites. enables SMTP replication. Okay, this is a protocol used to have the inter-site replication happened, and NetLogin site coverage calculations. So the inter-site matching enables SMTP replication protocol and NetLogin site coverage calculations. Okay, so this is one thing. Let's ask also the AI tool what it means by NetLogin site coverage calculation. Okay, so another thing, NetLogin registered DNS service records for site-specific resource records. So we know that NetLogin is very important service that registered registered most of the domain controller services within the DNS. So this is very important for the replication to happen, because the replication will not happen unless the domain controllers have the necessary services for the replication to happen. For example, we need to have every domain controller to have the LDAP service registered or on the domain controller. We need to have the Kerberos also service on the domain controller. We need to have TCP IP, or some services should be available on the domain controller and should be advertised to all of the other domain controllers. This will be done using the NetLogin. How the services will be advertised? By registering them in the DNS. So the NetLogin is very important to register the domain controllers services, okay, in the DNS. And here it's saying that NetLogin registered DNS service records for a specific site. I think this is it will register all of the services for all of the domain controllers within one site in the DNS. So basically I think the same. Anyway, so this is a little bit of the diagram. We need to ask the AI tool to explain it in simple terms. So this is my explanation. Let's see the AI explanation. Okay, if we go there and ask ChatGPT 4o to explain it, let's see how it will be explained using ChatGPT 4o.
Sure. Let's break down the diagram in simple terms. 1. Intrasite replication. Inside each blue circle, you see multiple computers or servers connected to each other. These circles represent different locations or sites within a network. The computers within each site regularly share and update information among themselves, which is called intrasite replication. 2. Subnets. Each site has its own range of IP addresses called subnets. These subnets help organize and manage the computers within each site. For example, one site has subnets 172.20.118.024 and 172.30.68.024, and another site has subnets 192.168.0.16 and 192.168.23.24. 3. RPC IP connections. This is a way for computers to communicate within the same site. They use a method called Remote Procedure Call, RPC, over Internet Protocol IP to share information quickly and securely. 4. Intersite replication. The two blue circles are connected by a dashed line labeled WAN link, which stands for Wide Area Network. This connection allows the different sites to share and update information with each other, which is called intersite replication. This can be done using RPC IP or another method called SMP IP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. 5. NetLogon and DNS. The diagram mentions NetLogon registers DNS SRV site-specific resource records. This means that a service called NetLogon helps register and update the names and addresses of the computers in the network using DNS, domain name system. This ensures that computers can find and connect to each other. 6. Intersite messaging. This service helps with replication and communication between different sites. It ensures that emails and other messages are properly replicated and that the network's coverage is calculated correctly. In summary, the diagram shows how different parts of a network, sites, communicate within themselves and with each other to keep everything up to date and working smoothly. The tools and methods like RPC, NetLogon, and DNS help manage these connections and ensure secure and efficient communication.
Okay, so this is very good explanation of the diagram. As we see, most of AI tools now have the capability to analyze every screenshot and explain it and know its content. So let's see the answer of Claude and see what will be his answer.
This image illustrates how data is shared and synchronized across a large computer network. like what you might find in a big company. Let me break it down in simple terms. The big picture. You're looking at two main areas connected by a WAN link. Think of it as a long-distance internet connection. repadmin.exe. Troubleshooting. The big picture. You're looking at two main areas connected by a WAN link. Think of it as a long-distance internet connection. These areas could be different office locations of a company. Within each area, you see several computer servers, the blue tower icons, talking to each other. This is called intrasite replication. It's how information is shared quickly within one location. Each area has its own local network, the subnets mentioned at the bottom. Between areas, the two locations share information over the WAN link. This is called intersite replication. They can communicate using either RPC/IP, a standard way computers talk over networks, or SMTP/IP, basically, email. The top part. There's a special server at the top that helps manage how all these connections work. It handles things like intersite messaging, coordinating communication between sites, and netlogon, helping computers find each other on the network. Key points. The system ensures that any change made in one place gets copied to all other relevant places. It's designed to work efficiently, sharing data within a site quickly and between sites as needed. There are multiple ways for the computers to communicate, ensuring the system is robust and flexible. In essence, this diagram shows how a company keeps all its computer systems in sync, whether they're in the same building or across the country, ensuring everyone has access to the same up-to-date information. Copy.
So as we can see here, the answer of Claude is not that good. Okay, it's very short. Okay, and it also says that this is a server that controls everything. This is not a server. Okay, so it's not that accurate, but it gives us some good explanation, but not as good as ChatGPT. So let's go again and ask ChatGPT to explain a couple of things here. Remember that we have discussed before the Active Directory application dependencies we have seen, or in the first or the previous answer. If we go a little bit further here, remember that we have said that for the replication to happen, we need to have 7 points or 7 things to happen, or 7 things to be within a network. You need to have netlog, you need to have LDAP protocol. So let's see, we need a diagram, or we need to have a real world example to explain these 7 points, okay, in an example. So let's see how all this will be translated to a real world example. We need to have these 7 points, which is how the replication will depend upon 7 points to happen. We need this to be illustrated using a real world example, not theoretical explanation. So let's see the answer of ChatGPT. Here we go.
Let's use a real-world example with a company called Matrix Corp, which has a domain named matrix.internal. Imagine Matrix Corp has offices in 2 cities, Cairo and Alexandria. They use Active Directory AD to manage their network, including user accounts, computers, and other resources. Here's how Active Directory replication works and the dependencies it has, using this example. Shahak repadmin.exe is a tool that helps IT administrators at Matrix Corp fix any problems with how information is copied and updated across their network. Dependencies explained with examples. 1. Routable IP infrastructure. Example. Matrix Corp's network has specific IP address ranges for each office. In Cairo, they use IP addresses like 172.2.18.x, and in Alexandria, they use 192.168.x. The network is set up so that computers know which office or site they belong to and can communicate with the nearest domain controllers, special servers that manage the network. This helps employees' computers in Cairo connect to local resources rather than always reaching out to Alexandria. 2. DNS, domain name system. Example, when an employee in Cairo tries to access the company's email server, they type in email.matrix.internal. DNS translates this name to the IP address of the email server. For AD replication, DNS must be correctly set up so that the domain controllers in Cairo and Alexandria can find each other using their names rather than just their IP addresses. 3. RPC, Remote Procedure Call. Example, Matrix Corp's domain controllers use RPC to communicate and share updates. For instance, when a new user is added in Cairo, this information is transferred to Alexandria's domain controllers using RPC. This ensures that the new user can log in at either location without any issues. 4. Kerberos version 5 v5 authentication. Example, when an employee logs into their computer, Kerberos verifies their identity and ensures that their connection to the network is secure. This same authentication method is used when domain controllers communicate and replicate information to make sure it's done securely. 5. LDAP, Lightweight Directory Access Protocol. Example, when Matrix Corp adds a new domain controller in a third office in Luxor, LDAP is used to replicate the entire directory list of users, computers, etc. from either Cairo or Alexandria to the new Luxor server. This ensures the new domain controller has all the information it needs to manage local resources. 6. NetLogon. Example, NetLogon helps Matrix Corp's domain controllers in different offices find each other. It registers and updates the necessary DNS records so that the domain controllers know the IP addresses of their replication partners. This way, the server in Cairo knows how to find the server in Alexandria. 7. Intersite messaging. Example, Matrix Corp uses intersite messaging to handle replication between their distant offices, Cairo and Alexandria. This ensures that changes made in one office, like a new user account, are copied over to the other office efficiently. It also helps calculate the best way to cover the network with minimal delays. Summary. In summary, repadmin.exe helps Matrix Corp's IT team diagnose and fix any issues with how information is copied between their offices. Active Directory needs several things to work correctly: a well-organized IP network, DNS for name resolution, RPC for communication, Kerberos for security, LDAP for accessing directory information, NetLogon for finding servers, and intersite messaging for managing communication over long distances. This setup ensures that all employees can access the network and resources seamlessly, no matter which office they are in.
So this is very good explanation of ChatGPT 4o concerning the factors that the replication depend on to happen and the factors for an Active Directory to work smoothly. So these are applies to the two. To have a working smoothly Active Directory, you have these 7 points implemented in your network, or for the replication to happen, you need to have the same 7 points to be implemented in your network. Now we need to ask Claude to explain these 7 points using a real-world example. So let's see how it will give us, or which answer it will give us.
Certainly. Let's use real-world examples with the domain name matrix internal to explain these concepts. repadmin.exe. Imagine you're the IT administrator for Matrix Corporation. You notice that some employees in different offices can't see updated user information. You'd use repadmin.exe to diagnose and fix these replication issues. Routable IP infrastructure. Matrix has offices in New York and Los Angeles. The New York office uses 192.168.1.0/24, while LA uses 192.168.2.0/24. This setup helps computers in New York connect to nearby servers, dc1.matrix.internal, instead of those in LA, dc2.matrix.internal. DNS. When a computer in Matrix looks for dc1.matrix.internal, DNS translates this to an IP address like 192.168.1.10. This ensures computers can find the right servers. Remote Procedure Call, RPC. When an employee in New York updates their profile, RPC allows dc1.matrix internal to securely tell dc2.matrix internal about this change. Kerberos v5 authentication. When dc1.matrix internal wants to replicate data to dc2.matrix internal, Kerberos ensures they are who they claim to be, preventing unauthorized access. LDAP. When Matrix sets up a new domain controller, dc3.matrix.internal in Chicago, it uses LDAP to get a full copy of the Matrix internal directory from an existing controller. NetLogon. NetLogon helps dc1.matrix internal register itself in DNS so other domain controllers can find it for replication. Intersite messaging. Matrix has a slow link between New York and LA. Intersite messaging helps schedule replication during off hours to avoid network congestion. In essence, all these components work together to ensure that when an employee in New York updates their phone number, this change is securely and efficiently replicated to all Matrix offices, maintaining a consistent directory across the entire corporation.
So as you can see, very good example, and I think it is explained clearly more than ChatGPT 4o. But anyway, I think both have done a great job in explaining this. So let's also again see this diagram. We need to have a real-world example to explain this diagram. So this is like a theoretical explanation. Let's tell it to explain this using real-world example. Let it be on a domain named matrix.internal. Okay, I think it will be similar to the previous answer by ChatGPT 4o, but here it will be more detailed. Let's see the answer, or see how the replication will happen, the intra-site replication and the inter-site replication. Let's see the answer of ChatGPT 4o when I ask it to use this diagram or explain this diagram not in simple terms but using real world example. Let's see the answer of ChatGPT 4o.
Sure, let's use the example of Matrix Corp with the domain matrix.internal to explain the diagram. Scenario: Matrix Corp has offices in Cairo and Alexandria. They use Active Directory AD to manage their network, which includes user accounts, computers, and other resources. Here's how the diagram applies to their setup. Key components in the diagram. 1. Intrasite replication within each site. Example: in Cairo, Matrix Corp has several domain controllers, special servers that manage network resources, that communicate with each other to keep all information updated within the Cairo office. This is shown in the left blue circle labeled Intrasite Replication. Similarly, in Alexandria, the domain controllers communicate within the Alexandria office, as shown in the right blue circle. How it works. These domain controllers use RPC IP connections to replicate, share, and update information such as user accounts, passwords, and permissions among themselves. 2. Subnets example. In Cairo, Matrix Corp's office uses IP address ranges like 172.2.18.x and 172.3.68x. In Alexandria, they use ranges like 192.168x and 192.168.23.x. These subnets help organize the network and ensure that computers can find and communicate with each other efficiently. 3. WAN link connecting different sites. Example: Cairo and Alexandria offices are connected over a WAN link, wide area network, represented by the red curved line in the middle of the diagram. This link allows the two offices to share and update information. How it works. Information is replicated between the two sites using either RPC, IP, or SMTP IP connections. This process is called intersite replication and ensures that changes made in one office, like a new user account or password update, are reflected in the other office. 4. NetLogon and DNS. Example: NetLogon helps the domain controllers in both Cairo and Alexandria find each other by registering names and addresses in the DNS, domain name system. This ensures that the domain controllers know the IP addresses of their replication partners, allowing for smooth communication and updates. 5. Intersite messaging. Example: Intersite messaging is used to facilitate replication between the two offices and calculate site coverage. For instance, if the Forest functional level is set to Windows 2000, intersite messaging helps generate the replication topology, the plan of how data is shared and updated between sites. Simplified explanation. Intrasite replication. Each office, Cairo and Alexandria, keeps its local servers in sync. Subnets. Specific IP address ranges are used to organize the network in each office. WAN link. Connects Cairo and Alexandria offices, allowing them to share updates. NetLogon and DNS help servers find and connect to each other using names and addresses. Intersite messaging manages the communication and replication between different office locations. This setup ensures that all employees at Matrix Corp, whether in Cairo or Alexandria, have consistent and up-to-date access to network resources.
Very, very good explanation and very, very simple. Let's see the same question asked to Claude 3.5 Sonnet to explain this diagram using real-world example, for example, for a domain named matrix. Let's see the answer.
Certainly. Let's imagine the Matrix Corporation with the domain matrix internal and explain this diagram using that real-world example. Overall structure, Matrix Corporation has two main office locations, let's say New York, left side, and Los Angeles, right side. These are connected by a WEN, Wide Area Network, link, which is essentially a long-distance internet connection between the two offices. Intrasite replication. In each office, New York and Los Angeles, there are multiple servers, the blue tower icons. These servers constantly share information with each other. For example, if an employee in New York updates their email address, it's quickly shared among all the New York servers. This is intrasite replication. Intersite replication. When important information needs to be shared between New York and Los Angeles, it travels over the WAN link. This is intersite replication. For instance, if a new project is created in New York, the Los Angeles office needs to know about it too. Subnets. Each office has its own local network. New York uses the IP ranges 172.20.118.0/24 and 172.30.68.0/24, while Los Angeles uses 192.168.0.0/16 and 192.168.23.0/24. This helps organize the computers and servers within each office. RPC/IP connections. The servers use RPC/IP to talk to each other, both within an office and between offices. It's like a common language they all understand. SMTP/IP. For some types of information sharing between offices, Matrix might use SMTP/IP, essentially a secure email-like system for the servers to communicate. Top server. The server at the top helps manage communication between the two offices. It handles intersite messaging, coordinating how and when New York and Los Angeles share information. NetLogon, helping servers find each other on the network. For example, when a new server is added in Los Angeles, it helps make sure New York knows about it. DNS SRV records. It keeps a directory of important servers in the matrix.internal domain, so computers know where to find the resources they need. Site coverage calculations. This helps ensure that if one server in an office goes down, others can pick up the slack, maintaining smooth operations for Matrix employees. In essence, this diagram shows how Matrix Corporation keeps all its information synchronized and accessible across its offices, ensuring that whether an employee is in New York or Los Angeles, they have access to the same up-to-date company data and resources within the Matrix internal domain.
So you can see very, very good example. Anyway, here is something we need to focus on here. There is one incorrect point in here, point number 7, top server. If he goes there or let me show you all the diagram. Here he is talking about this as the top server. This is not a top server. This is only an illustration of or what is this one. It is like this is not the top server anyway. This is an icon representing the domain controller. So this is not the one controlling the replication. This is a resemblance of a domain controller. Okay. Anyway, but the answer is good. Okay. It is. I don't need to say it is better than ChatGPT 4o, but anyway, it's a good answer. Let's continue and see the next part. So we have asked the AI tools to explain Active Directory replication dependencies. Now we need to go to the second part, which is replication, or let me get you here the replication terminologies. If we go and see, here is some replication terms we need to explain. So this table lists terms that are commonly used in discussion about Active Directory replication. We need to discuss them one by one and ask the AI tools to explain it in a simple term. So here, if we go to ChatGPT 4o, here I have given it these terms and ask it to explain it in layman terms or to simplify it. So we have about how much terms we have until replication master, and we have up-to-date vectorness. So we have a couple of things here uh, from Active Directory replication until the last term, which is up-to-date vectorness. So let's see how you explain it in layman terms, and see also Claude how he will explain it. So let's read the answer.
Sure. Let's break down these technical terms into simple, real-world examples using the domain named matrix.internal. Active Directory replication. Definition. This is how changes made on one server, domain controller, are copied to other servers to keep everything in sync. Example. If a new employee named John is added to the user list on a domain controller in Cairo, this information is automatically shared with the domain controllers in Alexandria. This way, John can log in and access resources no matter where he is. Active Directory replication topology. Definition. The setup of how servers in different locations communicate and share updates. Example. Matrix Corp has a specific setup that determines how their Cairo and Alexandria servers talk to each other and share information. This setup adapts based on network conditions to make sure everything runs smoothly. Active Directory sites. A part of the network that has fast, reliable connections between computers. Example. The Cairo office and Alexandria office each represent a site. Within each office, computers are well connected and can share information quickly. Knowledge Consistency KCC. Definition. A tool that ensures the network's setup for sharing updates is correct and efficient. Example. The KCC regularly checks the connection setup between Cairo and Alexandria to ensure it's working well and makes adjustments if needed. Intersite Topology Generator. Definition. A role that manages which servers handle communication between different offices. Example. In Matrix Corp, one of the servers in Cairo might be assigned the ISTG role, which means it decides which servers in Cairo and Alexandria will handle sharing updates between the two offices. Multi-master replication. Definition. Every server can receive and share updates, not just one main server. Example. Both Cairo and Alexandria servers can make changes to the user list. If a new user is added in either office, that change will be shared with the other office's servers. Pull replication. Definition. Servers request updates when they need them rather than being sent updates all the time. Example. The server in Alexandria will request pull updates from the Cairo server when it needs the latest information, like when a new user is added in Cairo. Store and forward replication. Definition. Each server communicates with a few other servers to share updates, rather than one server talking to everyone. Example. The Cairo server might share updates with one main server in Alexandria, which then shares those updates with other servers in Alexandria. High watermark. Definition. A value that tracks the most recent updates received from a specific server. Example. The Alexandria server keeps a high watermark to know the latest updates it received from the Cairo server, ensuring it doesn't reprocess old information. Up-to-dateness vector. Definition. A value that tracks all updates received from all servers. Example. When the Alexandria server requests updates, it tells the Cairo server its up-to-dateness vector to only get new changes, not everything again. Summary. In simple terms, Active Directory ensures that all servers in different locations, like Cairo and Alexandria, are always up to date with the latest information, such as new users or changes to permissions. It uses various tools and methods to manage how updates are shared, ensuring efficient and reliable communication across the network.
Very, very good explanation of most of the Active Directory application terms, okay? So, or glossary or terms. Let's see how Shad or Claude will explain the same terminologies. Let's see what will be the answer.
Sure. I'll explain this glossary in simpler terms. Active Directory replication. Think of Active Directory as a big digital phone book for a company. Replication is like making sure every office has the latest version of this phone book. When someone in one office updates their info, it's shared with all other offices automatically. Active Directory replication topology. This is like a map showing how all the company's offices share their phone book updates. It's designed to use the best routes, kind of like how GPS finds the fastest way to your destination. Active Directory sites. These are like different office locations of a company. Each site has its own copy of the phone book and fast connections within itself. Knowledge Consistency Checker. KCC. This is like a smart assistant that keeps checking if the map for sharing updates is still the best one and can redraw it if needed. Intersite Topology Generator. ISTG. Think of this as a traffic controller that decides which computers should be responsible for sharing updates between different office locations. Multimaster Replication. This means any office can make changes to the phone book, not just one central office. It's like allowing every branch to update customer information directly. Pull replication. Instead of constantly sending updates to everyone, each office asks for updates when they need them. It's like checking for new emails instead of having them pushed to you all the time. Store and forward replication. This is like a relay race for information. Each office passes updates to a few others, who then pass it on, rather than one office trying to tell everyone at once. High watermark. This is like a bookmark that helps each office remember what updates it has already received, so it doesn't waste time getting the same information again. Up-to-dateness vector. This is a smart checklist that helps each office keep track of all the updates it has received from every other office, ensuring nothing is missed. In essence, all these terms describe how a company keeps its digital information synchronized across all its locations efficiently and reliably. Copy. Retry.
Kroner.
Explain this using real-world examples on a dummy named Matrix internal. Edit. Certainly. Let's use the domain matrix.internal for our examples to explain these concepts in a real-world context. Active Directory replication. In the Matrix Corporation, matrix.internal, when an employee in New York updates their phone number, this change is automatically shared with all other Matrix offices worldwide. Active Directory replication topology. Matrix's IT team sets up a smart network that ensures updates are shared efficiently. For example, changes in the New York office, newyork.matrix.internal, might go to Chicago, chi.matrix.internal, first, then to Los Angeles, lamatrix.internal, based on network speed and reliability. Active Directory sites. Matrix has offices in different cities. Each office, like newyork.matrix.internal, chi.matrix.internal, and lamatrix.internal, is set up as a separate site with its own local network and servers. Knowledge Consistency Checker, KCC. Every night, a program runs on Matrix's servers to check if the current way of sharing information between offices is still the most efficient, adjusting if needed, like rerouting traffic after a road closure. Intersite Topology Generator, an SDG. In each Matrix office, one server is chosen to be the main communicator with other offices. For example, Server 1 in newyork.matrix.internal might be designated to exchange updates with chi.matrix.internal. Multimaster replication. Any HR person in any Matrix office can update an employee's information in the directory. They don't have to wait for approval from a central office. Pull replication. Instead of constantly sending updates, the LaMatrix internal server checks with newyork.matrix internal every 15 minutes to see if there are any new changes it needs to download. Store and forward replication. When a new project is created in newyork.matrix.internal, it tells chi.matrix.internal, which then passes the info to lamatrix.internal, instead of New York trying to update every office directly. High watermark. The server in lamatrix.internal keeps track that it has all updates from newyork.matrix internal up to 3 p.m. today. Next time it checks, it only asks for updates after 3 p.m. Up-to-dateness vector. The chi.matrix internal server maintains a list showing it has all New York updates as of 3 p.m., all LA updates as of 2:45 p.m., and all London updates as of 2:30 p.m. This helps it request only the newest information it doesn't already have. These mechanisms work together to ensure that whether an employee logs in from New York, Chicago, or Los Angeles, they see the same up-to-date information across the entire Matrix internal domain. while minimizing unnecessary network traffic and ensuring efficient synchronization of data.
Very good example, explanation, and also ChatGPT 4o, I think they complete each other, so we can see very good explanation how the terms, what each term means, and we can go further. There is a couple of terms we need to explain before going and using the tool. So for example, there is a couple of things. What is file replication service? What is replica set? What is topology? What we mean by disconnected operation, and what we mean by authenticated RPC with encryption. Let's ask ChatGPT for all the same things. So if I ask it to explain these terms in layman terms, let's see what will be his answer. Okay, let's go and check the answer.
Sure, let's break down these terms into simple, real-world examples. File Replication Service, FRS. Definition: a service in older versions of Windows servers that helps copy and update a specific shared folder across different servers. Example: Matrix Corp has a shared folder called Sysvol where they store important company policies and scripts. FRS ensures that if someone updates a file in this folder in Cairo, the same update happens in Alexandria. Replica set. Definition: a group of servers that are all copying and updating the same set of directories, folders. Example: Matrix Corp servers in Cairo and Alexandria form a replica set for the Sysvol folder. This means both sets of servers are always keeping the contents of this folder identical. Matrix Corp could have thousands of servers all sharing the same set of folders. Topology. Definition: the arrangement of connections between servers that allows them to share updates. Example: the topology defines how Matrix Corp's servers in Cairo and Alexandria are connected. It includes details like when the servers will share updates, schedule, and which connections are active or inactive. Disconnected operation. Definition: the ability of FRS to continue working even if some servers are temporarily disconnected from the network. Example: if the internet connection between Cairo and Alexandria goes down, servers in each location can still accept changes locally. When the connection is restored, all changes will be shared and updated to ensure everything is synchronized again. Authenticated RPC with encryption. Definition: a method used to ensure that the data being shared between servers is secure and cannot be tampered with. Example: when Matrix Corp servers in Cairo and Alexandria share updates, they use secure communication methods, Kerberos Authentication Protocol, to make sure that the data is encrypted. This means that only authorized servers can read the updates, and the data can't be altered during the transfer. Summary: in simple terms, these technologies help Matrix Corp ensure that important shared folders like Sysvol are always up to date across all their servers, even if there are temporary network issues. The connections between servers are securely managed to prevent unauthorized access and tampering.
Very good explanation. Let's go and ask Claude to explain the same terms in simple terms.
Sure. I'll explain these terms in simple, everyday language. File Replication Service, FRS. Think of FRS as a courier service for important company documents. It makes sure that every office has the same set of important files, like company policies or shared resources. Replica set. Imagine a group of friends who all want to have the same photo album. The group of computers that all keep copies of the same set of folders is called a replica set. One computer can be part of multiple photo sharing groups. Topology. This is like a map of how information flows between computers. It shows which computers talk directly to each other, how often they chat, and if any connections are turned off. Disconnected operation. This is like being able to edit a shared document offline. Even if some computers are disconnected from the network, people can still make changes. When they reconnect, all the changes are shared and synced up. Authenticated RPC with encryption. Think of this as a secure courier service. When computers share information, they use special codes, encryption, to make sure no one can intercept and read the data. They also check IDs, authentication, to make sure they're talking to the right computer. In simple terms, These concepts all work together to ensure that important files and information are shared securely and efficiently across all computers in a company's network, even when some computers might be temporarily offline. Copy, retry, KR. Explain this using real-world examples on a domain-named matrix internal. Edit. Certainly. Let's use the Matrix Corporation with the domain matrix internal to explain these concepts with real-world examples. File Replication Service, FRS at Matrix Corporation, matrix.internal. FRS ensures that every office has the same set of company policies and shared resources. For example, when HR updates the employee handbook at the New York office, newyork.matrix.internal, FRS automatically copies this update to all other Matrix offices worldwide. Replica Set, Matrix has a group of servers across different locations, newyork.matrix.internal, lamatrix.internal, london.matrix.internal, that all maintain identical copies of the Project X folder. These servers form a replica set. The New York server might also be part of another replica set for financial reports with a different group of servers. Topology, Matrix's IT team has set up a replication map. For instance, the New York server, New York, srv1.matrix.internal, shares updates directly with Chicago, CHI, srv1.matrix.internal, every 15 minutes, but only connects to Los Angeles, LA, srv1.matrix.internal, once an hour due to bandwidth constraints. Disconnected operation. When a Matrix employee is working on their laptop during a flight, they can still access and edit files in their local copy of the Project X folder. Once they land and connect to the Matrix internal network, their changes are synced with all other servers in the replica set. Authenticated RPC with encryption. When the server in New York, srv1.matrix.internal, needs to send updated financial data to London, srv1.matrix.internal, it first verifies that it's really talking to the London server, authentication. Then, it encrypts the data before sending, so even if someone intercepts the transmission, they can't read the sensitive financial information. In the context of matrix.internal, FRS ensures all Matrix offices have the same critical files. Replica sets keep specific project folders in sync across relevant offices. The topology defines how and when Matrix's servers share information. Disconnected operation allows Matrix employees to work offline when needed. Authenticated RPC with encryption keeps Matrix's data transfer secure. These systems work together to keep Matrix Corporation's information consistent, accessible, and secure across all its global offices within the Matrix internal domain.
So as you can see here, very good explanation of most of the terms concerning the replication. So again, we are going further before working with the tool itself. We will go to the slides and we see or discover them one by one. First of all, this is troubleshooting Active Directory replication, and that replication is complex. The data structure is complex, and many organizations have complex networks. Then one important thing, replication is not synchronizing the data or the Active Directory database. It is like syncing the state. What we mean by syncing the state, the domain controller in a domain must quickly and accurately synchronize the Active Directory database. This is not the only thing that is synced or replicated. The DNS zones, okay, it is also replicated, and the global catalogs, okay. Each one of these is replicated, and we will see what each one of these mean. What is an Active Directory database? What is DNS zones? What are global catalogs? So another thing, replication doesn't mean only replicating of Active Directory database. We mean replicating DNS zones. We mean replicating global catalogs, replicating of sysvol folders. Okay. Domain control must sync schema. This is part of the Active Directory database. We all remember this diagram. We have in every Active Directory database these four partitions: the configuration partition, forest-wide information about the Active Directory structure, the topology, schema, for forest-wide definitions and rules for creating and manipulating objects and attributes, domain, information about domain-specific objects, application, information about application. We have discussed the Active Directory partitions before in a previous video. So this is replicated, and the most important tool or the forest-wide replication partitions are the configuration and the schema. We have discussed this before. So we need to know what is the Active Directory database, what is DNS zone, what is global catalogs. Okay, so let's ask again the AI tools to explain this slide. Okay, we will tell it to explain what we have seen in this slide in layman terms and try to put it in a real world example. So let's go and see the answer of ChatGPT 4o.
Sure. Let's break this down into layman's terms using a real-world example with Matrix Corp and their domain named Matrix Internal. Haha, replication. Synchronizing the state, not just data. Replication in this context means making sure that all the important parts of the system are kept in sync, not just copying files. What needs to be synchronized? One Active Directory database. Example. This is like the phone book of Matrix Corp. It contains all the information about employees, computers, and other resources. If a new employee joins the company, their details are added to this phone book. All offices, like Cairo and Alexandria, need to have the same up-to-date phone book. 2 DNS zones. Example, DNS zones are like the address book that helps computers find each other using names instead of numbers. For example, when someone types email.matrix.internal to access their email, DNS helps route them to the correct server. All offices need to have the same address book to ensure everyone can access resources without issues. Global catalogs. Example, a global catalog is a quick reference guide that contains important information about every user and resource in the entire network. If an employee in Cairo needs to find a document stored in Alexandria, the global catalog helps locate it quickly. All offices need to have the same reference guide to ensure smooth and fast searches. Domain controllers must synchronize. 1. Schema partition across the entire forest. Example, the schema is like the blueprint or the rules for the phone book. It defines what information can be stored and how it is structured. For instance, it specifies that every employee entry must have a name, email, and phone number. All domain controllers in every office need to have the same blueprint to ensure they are storing and handling information consistently. In simple terms, Matrix Corp needs to make sure that all their servers, domain controllers, across different offices, like Cairo and Alexandria, have the same up-to-date phone book, Active Directory database, address book, DNS zones, and quick reference guide, global catalogs. They also need to follow the same rules, schema, for how this information is stored and managed. This synchronization ensures that everyone in the company can access the information and resources they need quickly and accurately, no matter where they are located.
Very, very good explanation. Let's see the same question asked to Claude 3.5 Sonnet. The same slide to be explained in layman terms or non-technical
Sure.
terms.
Let's break this down into simpler terms. Replication is synchronizing the state, not just data. Think of this like keeping a shared calendar up to date. It's not just about adding new events, but also making sure everyone has the same view of what's been canceled, changed, or added. Domain controllers in a domain must quickly and accurately synchronize there. Domain controllers are like the main computers that keep everything organized in a company network. They need to keep several things in sync. A. Active Directory database. This is like a company's digital phone book and organizational chart combined. It needs to be the same everywhere. B. DNS zones. This is like keeping the company's internal map up to date. It helps computers find each other on the network. C. Global catalogs. Think of this as a quick reference guide for the whole company. It contains the most important information from all parts of the organization. Domain controllers must synchronize schema partition across the entire forest. The schema is like the blueprint for how all information is organized. Imagine if you're building Lego sets across different offices, you want to make sure everyone is using the same instruction manual. The forest here means all the connected parts of the organization, even if they're in different locations or departments. In simple terms, it's about making sure that all the important computers in a company network have the same, up-to-date information about everything, from employee details to how the network itself is set up. This way, no matter which of these computers an employee connects to, they'll get the same, correct information. Copy. Retry. KR. Explain this using real-world examples on a domain named Matrix internal. Edit. Certainly. Let's use the Matrix Corporation with the domain Matrix internal to explain these concepts with real-world examples. Replication is synchronizing the state, not just data. At Matrix Corporation, Matrix.internal, when an employee named Neo is promoted from developer to team lead in the New York office, this change in status, not just his new title, is synchronized across all offices. This includes updating his permissions, group memberships, and any other related information. Domain controllers synchronizing AE, Active Directory database. When a new employee, Trinity, joins Matrix in the London office, london.matrix.internal, her account information is added to the local domain controller. This information is then quickly synchronized with all other domain controllers. So whether Trinity logs in from London, New York, new.york.matrix.internal, or Tokyo, tokyo.matrix.internal, her account details are available and up to date. B. DNS zones. Matrix adds a new printer in their Chicago office with the name Chi Printer3.matrix.internal. This information is updated in the DNS zones and replicated to all domain controllers. Now, any employee in any office can find and use this printer if they're connected to the Matrix network. C. Global catalogs. When Matrix creates a new department called AI Research, this information is added to the global catalog. Now, when Morpheus in the LA office, LawMatrix.internal, searches for this new department, he can find it quickly, even though it might be primarily based in a different office. Synchronizing schema partition across the entire forest, Matrix decides to add a new attribute to all employee records called cybersecurity clearance. This change to the schema is made once and then synchronized across all domain controllers in the entire Matrix internal forest. This ensures that whether you're looking at an employee record in new.york.matrix.internal, lawmatrix.internal, or tokyo.matrix.internal, you'll see this new attribute for every employee. In the context of Matrix.internal, when changes happen anywhere in the Matrix Corporation network, they're quickly shared everywhere. Whether an employee logs in from New York, London, or Tokyo, they see the same, up-to-date information. New network resources, like printers, are immediately discoverable across all offices. Changes to how Matrix organizes its data, like adding new types of information, are consistently applied across the entire company. This ensures that Matrix Corporation maintains a consistent, up-to-date, and efficient network environment across all its global offices within the Matrix internal domain.
So this is a very, very good explanation. I think we need to stop here at this part. So in the upcoming video, we'll discuss the replication process. We have discussed it before, but we will add a couple of things to the replication diagram. So we all know that this is the database. Okay, it is replicated, but here it is missing the application partition. Then we need to replicate the DNS zones. We have the domain DNS zone and the forest DNS zone, and then the global catalog. So this will be added to the replication process. We will discuss this replication process in the upcoming video. So I hope this video informative to you all, and thank you all for viewing. Until I see you all next video, thank you so much.